Well, hello everyone. Welcome. It's George here, and today we're going to do something a little different. Um, I am going to present to you uh, what I call ghost graving, and I had done this a few times, and a couple of years ago I actually recorded it. And so I thought I would take you on this journey to introduce to you uh, ghost graving. It's quite something. Yes, it is. So, our story today, this is Danny Gates. Now, some of you folks might find this a little troubling. And I just want you to know that, you know, there is going to be like maybe some uh, stuff that might disturb you about this story. So understand that. But what ghost graving is, I'm going to explain in my video that I'm going to show you. But this fellow right here, this is Danny Gates, and he unfortunately had got hit by a car on a road, and it's really a sad story. He was just out walking, enjoying his day, and some crazy fool just came by and hit him on the road. Now, his family member, well, they wanted me to. They had heard about my ghost graving and from a friend, and wanted to know if I would go to the spot where Danny was last alive, and if I could pick up a signal. So I'm gonna show you the video that I did on that. And just remember, folks, this is for entertainment. Entertainment only. Take everything you see here with a grain of salt. So here we go, folks. This is my introduction to ghost graving. What is that? Oh my God, what is that? So I get a lot of people asking me, so what is this ghost graving? What is that? What exactly is that? What does that mean? Well, just turns out that it happened about 2 years ago. And I just call it ghost graving, but somebody found out that I could, take my meter somewhere and read areas that, where people had passed away. Sounds morbid as hell to some people, but it's just an interesting way of, seeing if you get any reaction from your meter, the electronic meter. Now, a lot of folks would think, well, do you go to the graveyards and do this? No, not necessarily. You see, your ghost graving, that can take place anywhere. You see, you can go anywhere where somebody's last life was and try to detect a detect a signal. Now, that don't mean you're going to get one. And if you do get one, if you do get a signal, well, it don't mean that it's that person that passed away. It essentially means you're getting a signal, but sometimes it's a very interesting that it actually happens, you know. And I've had relatives to say, will you please go to the location where my say son lost his life at maybe an accident. Would you go and just bring the meter out and see if you get a reading? And I kind of look at it this way. You know, when folks unfortunately pass away and not with us no more on this earth, and they donate their body parts, you know, to help somebody else living, especially like an heart. And when they transfer a heart to a person that needs it, and the mom or the relative goes up to that person that they know that their, say, son's or daughter's heart is in, and they hear it beating for the very first time, I kind of think that it's in that same sense. At least that's what I'd been told a couple of times by family members. They just feel like if there's some sort of a signal at that location where they know that their family member lost their life, if there's some sort of a signal, they feel much better for whatever reason. So yeah, it's quite something. It really is. But that's what I call ghost graving. Now I know that some people will say that's just a bunch of horse shit. Yeah, well, you know what? That's your prerogative. That's your view of it. You know, I feel like that there's a reason for everything, and well, sometimes you know, we think of things, and sometimes we don't think of things, of what happened to people, and what happens to people, why it's somebody's life is cut short. But you know, it is interesting when you go to a site and you get close to it. Before you get to the site, well, there's nothing going on your meter, and then all of a sudden you get right to the site and it just starts going crazy. Yeah. So I'm going to take you to a spot that this happened not too long ago, and I want you to see what I'm talking about. And like I said, if you don't like watching this stuff, well, you know, there's 1 million and other plus YouTube channels out there that you can go to. But my job is, I think, is that I'd like to be able to communicate with ghosts if they exist. So if you want to come right along, with this, then that's good. If you don't, then that's all right too. I just feel like that, I think it would be interesting if we could talk to, or have a chance to speak to a spirit, or a spirit try to speak to us, I mean, how cool would that be, right? And I think they just need opportunity. I think they have to have opportunity. And so that's my job on this whole deal, is that I want to try to find out as much opportunity as I can to give a spirit, ghost, phenomenon, angel a way of speaking to us, And you hear all the time that people say, well, an angel came down and spoke to me, or God came down and spoke to me. And, and I just got to tell you that, I do believe that in my heart that there's people, they see this and they hear this and they feel this. And I know that, something happened. We can't explain everything. It's selfish to think there's not existence somewhere else. So, but I want to take you to a spot to kind of give you an idea of what I'm talking about when it comes to ghost grieving. So a couple of months ago, I was putting together a little video, and I got an email from a lady that said, I heard about your, I think it's called ghost grieving, where you go and you see if there's any activity where somebody's lost their life. Are you still doing that? And I said, oh, well, I do. She said, well, would you care to go to a spot where her grandson got hit by a car? Now, I know, folks, you're going to think, well, this is really just, this is bad. But, if there's something there, a signal or spirit, I'd like to be able to, help her communicate somehow, or at least get something from it, So I sent her back a message saying, yeah, I'll be glad to go do this. And I can't promise anything, and I can't tell you that if I do get a signal that that this is going to be your grandson. She didn't go into great detail about this situation, but and I'm not going to tell you exactly where this location is, just to protect the situation. If you live in this area, then you'll know what I'm talking, where I'm at. But I'm not going to state out names and stuff such as that. That'd just be, I don't want to do that. But it was quite interesting. Quite interesting. Now, this is not the location. We'll get to that here in a few minutes, but I was just out and about here and noticed that somebody's shoe was in the water here. I don't see anybody nowhere, but definitely interesting. There's definitely some life in the water here, though. So I'm at the location. I'm real close. And as you can see, it's just kind of, it's just Not doing a whole lot, but it is reading something. This is the location where this lady's grandson got hit by a car. What I'll say. She said it was okay to say that. And he lost his life. This has been a couple of years ago, so it's not been nothing recent. But this is the location she wanted me to go to. So let me show you what happens when you get close to this location, because whatever the reason is, there's a powerful signal here, and you can decide yourself whether you feel like there's something going on here or not. We're right at the location. Wow. Crazy. It is just crazy. It is turned red, and we've got a powerful signal. Oh my goodness. Wow. Folks, I got to tell you, that's a high. That's high. Oh my gosh. And this is where it happened, right here. Are you here? This is where it happened, folks. Right here. Oh gosh. What? Oh my God. Oh. Oh yes, folks. Well, there you go. That's ghost graving. And if you want to know what happened, well, exactly, I can't explain other than the fact that when I stood there, the meter kept just going crazy, just beeping really crazy and really fast. And all of a sudden, I felt like a hand on the back of my shoulder, and like it was tugging on me, just like it was telling me to get out of the road, or, trying to pull me out of the road. So, so I had talked to the lady. I showed her, about her grandson, the meter and all. And his name is Danny Gates. He was 19 years old, and she said it was okay to give his name, but I'm not going to give out the location because I just out of respect. But folks, yep, that's what we do on here with ghost graving, and I'm going to be showing some more. It's very interesting, folks. It's one of the, boy, when you read cards and do the things at the board, it will give you a cold chill ever so often. But when you go ghost graving, and go to a spot where somebody lost their life, the last spot that they were known to be alive, and when you start getting some kind of reading or and I use different things to just try to pick up, see if there's something going on there, but the meter is the most popular. But yeah, it's definitely interesting. So yeah. Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know in the comments what you think. If you'd like to see some more of these, definitely let me know. And if you have not subscribed to the channel, if you will, please do so. It'll let you know that I've got another crazy video coming out, a reading or ghost graving or whatever. But I sure appreciate you watching. And folks, as I always say, if you will, be sure to, you know, hug a loved one. Because, folks, you just never know. You just never know day by day. Thanks for watching, folks. You be safe. And until next time, this is George. We'll see you down the road. Bye-bye.